Hey, good morning, everybody. It is 7:38 a.m. on this 1st of July, 2025, Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. And let me just hold on for a second. Bring something up. Not that, I don't want to bring that up. Advertisements and everything. Hold on, wait, fix something. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, it's always happens when I use this app. They have to have an advertisement on the bottom when you're trying to get to your main menu so you can get to your pictures. So if you hear anything, I do apologize for that. Any movements and all that, I do apologize. Here we go. So yeah, over the weekend, basically Eric W. Shorts released the 63rd page, I believe, the 63rd page of Sabrina Online, the very for a majority of it, very zigzag centric story called Stripes and Links. And the story so far has been really, really good. We've been, like I said, majority of the story, we've been focusing on Zigzag and her trying to basically figure out, why she essentially acts the way she does because, to catch people up on what's going on. Not Sabrina, but Zigzag went out with Sabrina's mom, Endora, who she's been friends with since before and after Sabrina's wedding. So she's kind of been like a best, kind of like a BFF for Endora. And one of the most recent nights out with Endora, Endora asked her or brought up the subject of, in a question basically, of whether or not she was still looked at as being attractive and all that, hot, single, whatever. Well, basically attractive. And both were drinking, of course. Zigzag obviously a bit more than Endora. And Zigzag, out of the kindness of her heart, basically said, yeah, you are still attractive. You are still hot. You are still irresistible and stuff like that. And then again, because she probably had a little bit more than Endora to drink, out of, I guess, out of, proving that to be true, she ends up kissing Endora on the lips, which puts Endora in shock, and then things just roller coaster from there. It does feel like they're going to be on the mends and all that, and it does feel like Endora is, getting some of that, I guess you could say, release that she's been, or not just release, but some of that attention, some of that spark, um, that I guess you could say intimacy that she's been kind of craving a little bit, that attractiveness she's been kind of, craving from my husband Warren, because she basically, when Sabrina went and talked to her, she just let it be known, how she felt and everything, and maybe that's why, even though she was, it's early, I do apologize if I'm pausing a little bit, but she, this is why, she admitted when Sabrina talked to her, kind of like talked to her regularly, very regular conversation wise. This is why she just came out and said that even though she was shocked by what Zigzag did, she actually enjoyed it. She actually liked being kissed by Zigzag, which was a surprise. And it's mainly because of the fact that she feels like she's not being desirable anymore. She's not desirable to Warren or to anybody. And that even if another woman finds her desirable, that's enough to, kind of spark something in, within her. So basically, she's kind of getting that taken care of, and obviously, she might kind of handle that as well when it comes to Zigzag coming back towards the end of the story. Excuse me, towards the end of the story. But Zigzag, on the other hand, she's on this road trip with her bisexual lover, and I guess you could say lead crew member or whatever, Tina Links. And they're going back to her hometown, and they're trying to figure out, okay, why is she acting the way she is? Why does she do these things? There's got to be an answer. Like, why does she come on to people the way she does? Why does she force herself onto people the way she does? And it's been some great development we've been, seeing with her. I mean, we've been seeing her interact with, with her siblings, Brandon and Brandy, her grandparents, and now she's interacting with her mom. And the interaction with her mom is really, really interesting. It's really, really good, and it's got some great backstory to it, and some great character development between them as well. And in the most recent one, they kind of got into a bit of an argument, going back and forth as to why Zigzag's mom just sat there and allowed the husband to do what he did. And the mom makes it perfectly clear to her, makes it perfectly clear to her, excuse me, the mom makes it perfectly clear that she regrets not doing anything to stop the husband, to stop not Sabrina, but Zigzag's father from doing what he's doing. Hold on for a sec, guys. Gotta put my coat back in. Phone goes into silent mode. Like the computer goes into standby and all that, blank screen and all that. Same thing here. Same thing here with the phone. But basically the mom, she lets Zigzag know, hey, I regret. And this was in the last page. She lets her know, I regret every day not standing up and doing something that I should have. I mean, she even mentions that when the husband gave her a fractured eye and everything, that instead of telling the hospital the truth, or telling the cops the truth, or stuff like that, um, basically they had to cover it up by saying, yeah, she ran it into open cabinet door, if you will, which was not true. So yeah, basically she basically told Zigzag the truth. She said, look, I regret every day not standing up to protect you and everything. And she even says that she probably didn't do it, or didn't do that because she was fearful. She was afraid and stuff like that. She wasn't sure exactly what would happen if she did. So yeah, she regrets it every day. And this kind of kind of makes Zigzag realize, whoa. And I thought I had it bad, and and she did. She did. She did have it bad, but she didn't realize that the mother took just as much of the took just as much as the frustration, you know, and anger out on her from the husband as the husband did to Zigzag, if not worse. So Zigzag didn't realize that, until the mom told her finally. But then that gets us to the more recent page. And in the most recent page, the mother says basically that the mother basically says, you might be happy to know that not long after you left, things actually did get a little better around here. My parents came in to help out and keep your father from getting too out of control. Now, that is true, but here's what's interesting. Zigzag informs her, I know, Mom. I asked him to step in. And the mom's like, you did? I guess I should have known. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's early. So reading, sometimes those, reading things, you don't read them as exactly as you should. But yeah, the mom basically lets her know to start off the recent page that after Zigzag left, things got a little bit better, and the grandparents stepped in to prevent the father from getting too out of control. But then Zigzag tells her, yeah, Mom, I know. I asked them to do that. And obviously, this is a revelation to the mom, because the mom's like, you did? And then I guess as she thinks about it, she's like, I should have known that probably was you, or you were probably the reason, they stepped in and all that. Um, but then afterwards, the mom, hold on for a sec, gotta zoom in. Uh, the mom basically says that she definitely didn't know they would be taking custody of Brandon and Brandy away from her. And then Zigzag has to also admit that, yeah, well, that was my idea too. And Zigzag basically said, to follow up on that, that she wanted to be absolutely sure that they would be protected from their father. And at the time, she didn't know, this being Zigzag, didn't see her mom so much as a victim, but more like an accomplice or a liability. And the mom's response is, I see. And ZigZag then says, I hope I didn't like wreck your life, and the mom's answer to that is, compared to what it already was, not really. And the family fund you set up helped us all out, or helped us all out a lot, made it much easier to fully separate from him. And the fun she's talking about is basically what ZigZag set up after she started getting work, and then obviously after she started doing the Double Z Studio stuff, she was able to send money into a fund for the family to help Brandon and Brandy get a place of their own, help the mother out, help the grandparents out, stuff like that. So she was, she always had a family obviously at the forefront, and she wanted to make sure that they ended up having a better life than what they had currently gone through. But yeah, the mother basically tells her that the family fund helped them out a lot. And hold on for a sec if you hear anything. ZigZag's like, I'm glad to hear that. And then the mom says, I was sad you left the family on such terrible terms, but I was also happy to know that you got away. So basically, the mom says in the final panel there, or admits in the final panel, that she's proud that essentially, even though she was upset that ZigZag took off the way she did, when she thinks about it, she's actually proud that ZigZag got away from what was going on. Because the mother, obviously, in her own way, there is admitting that, even though I was sad that you left us, in such a terrible way, I'm glad that you were able to get away from this, because I think what the mom kind of believes is that if ZigZag didn't do that, things would have been worse. Things would have gotten a lot worse and everything. But yeah, this part, this page 63, I like it. It's a good continuation of the conversation, the reconciling between the mother and ZigZag. I like the fact that I like the fact that basically the mother acknowledges everything that ZigZag has to confirm to her that she already knows, about the grandparents stepping in and preventing the father from getting too out of control. And, and ZigZag, of course, basically admits, yeah, I was the one that made sure that happened. And then, the grandparents getting custody of Brandon and Brandy and everything. And ZigZag acknowledging, yeah, I did that as well. And then ZigZag adding on to the fact that the reason she did it was she didn't know, was one, to protect her siblings from the father, but she also didn't know whether or not at the time her mother was an accomplice or a liability more than a victim. And obviously, talking with her mom, she finds out that her mom was just as much a victim of what the father was doing as she was. So yeah, ZigZag does confirm everything that the mom brings up as being as her being the reason it all happened. But then her telling the mom basically again that the only reason she had the custody taken away from her is she didn't see the mom at the time as a victim, but more either as an accomplice to what was happening or a liability. But now but now hearing it straight from her mom that, hey, I was just as much a victim as you, Tanya, which is ZigZag's original name, original real name. For the mom to come out and say, hey, I was just as much a victim as you, that kind of, I guess, in a way, opens ZigZag's eyes up a little bit. It makes her realize that, even though she did the right things for the siblings and herself, that, had she known that, hey, the mom was a victim as well, I'm thinking she's going, this is my opinion. I think what's going through ZigZag's mind right now in the story is that even though she knows she did the right thing and the mom knows she did the right thing and everything, that had she known back then what she now knows, about the mom being just as much a victim as she was, ZigZag probably wouldn't have had the kids taken away, as much. So, yeah, it's a great story so far. It's a good story that they've been putting out. I like the mom. I like the fact that the mom was understanding of, again, ZigZag looking at her in that way at the time and not realizing, again, she was a victim and all that. And I like how ZigZag, basically in her own apologetic way, basically, hopes that she didn't, wreck her mom's life. And her mom's like, hey, compared to what we went through, no, no, you didn't. You didn't wreck my life or anything like that. So, because the mom even says, compared to what it already was, not really. So for the mom to basically say, yeah, you having the kids taken away by the put in the custody of the grandparents and all that, yeah, it was bad, it was hard, but you did the right thing. Her saying that compared to what they were already going through, when Zigzag, apologetic way is saying, hey, I hope I didn't wreck your life and all that. For the mom to say no, not really, compared to what they had gone through already, that's the mom's way of being very understanding of, hey, I didn't like the idea, but I understand that you did it for everyone's safety and protection. And and for the mom to bring up the family fund and that that Zigzag set up for them, and for them to help them out a lot, in the process, for her to bring that up, that the money that she put in the fund helps them out a lot in the process, as well as making it easier to separate from the father. For her to basically bring that up and acknowledge it, and basically, own way by acknowledging it, thanking Zigzag for doing it, it's great. It's great. That it's great for her to again be accepting of everything that's happened. And come to the realization that, hey, I don't like what my daughter did, but I know she did it for a reason. She did it for the benefit of the family or for the betterment of the family and all that. So I may not agree with it, or I may not have agreed with it at the time, but I know I did it for the betterment of the family. And for Zigzag to, hear that from her mom and basically say, hey, I'm glad to hear that the family fund's helping, or has been helping, is great. And then for the mother at the end to say, hey, I may have been sad that you left the family on terrible terms, but I'm glad. But then for her to follow that up by saying, I'm glad you were able to get away from it all, and make a life for yourself, and all that, and everything. For the mom to acknowledge that, to basically, kind of in a very proud parent way, proud mother way, say, hey, I may have been sad that you left on terrible terms, but I'm glad you were able to get away, and and make a life of, in a way, make a life of your own. I like that. I like again that the mother is understanding. Like, yeah, she doesn't, like, yeah, she looking back upon it and thinking about it. The mother may have not been totally on board with the grandparents taking custody of the kids and all that, but she, over time understands. She's come to accept, especially when talking with the grandparents and her kid and Brandy and Brandon. She's come to accept that, yeah, I may have not liked what your sister did, but she did the right thing. But in the end, she did do the right thing. And for her to admit that to Zigzag here in the story, or in this page of the story, I like it. And it definitely shows you there's that reconciliation to where Zigzag understands, hey, mom, she was able to understand, mom, I get it now. You were just as much a victim of what dad did to me, as to what dad did to me. You were just as much a victim, so I understand that, and for her to basically say that the only reason she had the grandparents take custody is because she didn't know at the time that the mother was a victim just as much as she was, and all she saw was either a liability or an accomplice, and obviously, I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, in story, she's probably thinking in the back of her head, had I known my mom was a victim like I was, I would have made sure the kids stayed with her, but the grandparents probably would have been over more often than anything else. If not, the mother may have, or maybe the mother would have been told to, hey, go move in with your parents or the grandparents along with your kids to get away from this guy. You know, that could have been maybe what she could have done if she because in story, you can't tell me in story she's not thinking that in the back of her head, that could have been something that she could have done had she known the truth, and not seen it as the mother being either a liability or an accomplice. So overall, good run. Overall, so far, good run and everything with the story and a good character development. I like it. I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to see what the next page is going to offer. Obviously, we still got more to go with the mom and ZigZag. Um, Maybe we might see what ZigZag's room looks like. When she was a kid, we'll see. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. I'm liking this connection, this reconciliation, this now understanding between both of them as to what happened. Kind of finding out things that they may or may have not known of. So I like that. I really do. And you also got to remember, Zigzag's doing this journey because she wants to know why she acts the way she does. And hopefully, maybe after talking things out with her mom, talking things out with the grandparents, maybe she's going to find out that she has a little bit of that father in her that she, was against, that she hated for what he did to her. She's going to find out that maybe she has a little bit of in him, little bit of him inside of her, along with that tiger blood that makes it kind of predatorial. She's going to probably realize that maybe that's what's making her do the things she's doing, and that she's got to basically, kind of stop herself. Since if she doesn't want to become like what he was, if on a different level, she's got to prevent herself from, from doing that stuff, and instead, as I said before, be consentable. Because I do believe at the end of all this, when she gets back home, she has to get back to work, she's probably going to put in a new rule of, hey, if you're not comfortable with doing certain scenes with me or anybody else, let me know, and we'll work something else out. We'll do something different. That's more comfortable, more at ease for you. So I could see that potentially being the end result. I also could see, to end it on a humorous note, I could see Endora giving ZigZag a taste of her own medicine, as well, by kissing her on the lips as a way to accept ZigZag's apology. I could see that too. But again, I've liked the story. I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to see what Eric has in store for the next few pages. Um, I still believe that we are going to get maybe a spin-off in Tales in his For After Dark series. I think we're going to get a spin-off there. And I think the spin-off is either going to be Warren and Endora, it's going to be Zigzag and Tina on this journey, or it's going to be Zigzag and Endora. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. But I got a feeling we will get a spin-off. But I'm liking it. But like I said, I'm liking this so far, and it's a great story. It's very relatable, in real life, to a lot of real life situations. So that's what I like about it, and I think that's what a lot of people like about it. The fact that it's very relatable in real, to real life situations, because sometimes you don't know the whole truth until you get older, and then when you find out the whole truth, you're like, okay, I did the right thing in protecting my family, protecting my siblings, but I didn't know this, was also going on. And if I had, maybe I would have protected this person as well. Again, that's what I'm thinking. Zigzag's feeling and believing in her mind in the story, knowing that the mother was just as much a victim as she was, if not more. And had she not seen the mom as, an accomplice or a liability, and saw her just as much of a victim as she was, that Zigzag probably would have had the mother basically move out with the siblings and move in with the grandparents to get away from the father. That's just my opinion as to, in story, what I think the character could be thinking in the back of the mind. But again, I've been enjoying it and I'm liking it. Can't wait to see what they have in store next. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment down below, like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, click on the links in the description, guys, to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube. It helps me out tremendously if you can. And yeah, that's all I can really say on it, guys. So until next time, let me know what your thoughts are on the story so far. What have you thought about Stripes and Links so far, now that we're 63 pages in? What do you think about it? And, what do you think is going to be next, on the docket as far as the story goes? Do you think maybe we might see the father, or at least an interaction between the two, from where the father is, incarcerated at? Do you think we might see that, or no? And do you think we might get, maybe some For After Dark spin-offs, based around the story, either between Warren and Endora, or Tanya and Zigzag, or maybe Zigzag and Endora? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts overall on the situation. And until next time, guys, like I said, click on the links in the description. Like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.